Listen now, folks, only one rule on this. Fred is very sensitive. So please, nothing personal. Keep this above board. He's very sensitive. But first of all, yeah, thank you for coming out. It's we're all, I know I speak for myself being slightly older than Brian. It's overwhelming the support that we receive in this town.
Yeah.
Haven't been here. This is my 14th coaching change.
Damn.
That I've seen since 1980.
Yeah.
And so it has been a very, very long ride. I feel very good about where we're at. None of this happens without the support that you guys provide. And so we're very thankful for that. Let's have some fun with this. And again, please be very gentle with Fred because he's been through a lot.
Feel free to ask me anything. We here to have fun. We here to open up.
That's B. Mitch. Just ask B. Mitch anything.
Okay, I try to steal his
segment. Thing, all right? That's his thing, all right? Let's get it going. Where we starting, B?
You mentioned the head coach. You guys want to talk about that while we wait on some people to come up with
Yeah.
the coaching change?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Brother Mitchell?
at this point, I think we all should be a little excited because it's new, and I think the newness of things make you excited. But the ultimate thing is, I know a lot of people had their mind set on the offensive coach.
Yep.
And I think ultimately, you don't need an offensive or defensive coach. You need a guy who can go out there and lead men.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the mere fact of watching the coaches that they attracted once Dan Quinn took over the job excites me. You know, you have two former head coaches on this staff.
Yeah.
Ken Norton. Ken Norton is as good as any out there to coach linebackers.
That's non-alcoholic, just in case you would check.
Yes, it is.
That's so dual.
We've had a lot of linebackers that come in here and they weren't as good, but Ken Harvey, again,
That is non-alcoholic.
That's your teammate.
Ken Harvey was great. But no, Ken Norton has been on staffs with some of the best linebackers you can think of.
Mm-hmm.
And if he can come in here and get this linebacker play to go up, I think it's going to be a great thing. Izzo, best team coach.
Great.
They have guys on this team can absolutely coach. Jason Simmons, defensive pass coordinator, pass game coordinator. They have a lot of people that can get people right. And I believe this staff is loaded with people who know how to get guys to play their absolute best. And that's all we need because we've had a lot of people fall short of getting to where they're supposed to be.
I like the approach of this coaching staff. You know what? I like people with a little life on them, you know. And the one thing about it, everybody on this coaching staff is hungry. You know, the one thing about it, our head coach, he understands that he went with a job unfinished in Atlanta. He did not win the Super Bowl. Coach Whitfield, like he's supposed to have been a defensive coordinator 10 years ago. Nobody give him the respect. Our offensive coordinator, nobody gives him the respect that he deserves. So everybody in the building has a chip, but they also have an expertise, and they also like to listen and learn from each other. And I think that's what y'all gonna really like about this coaching staff. They kind of take and pull from each other, and I think that's what's going to give us our identity. I done heard a couple of people ask me what's going to be the identity on offense. I think it's going to be whatever it takes to win that day. If that team can't stop the run, we're going to run the ball 50 times. They can't stop the pass, we're going to throw the ball all game. So I think this coaching staff understands the task at hand, and the task at hand is you got a clean slate protocol. You get to pick most of these players. You get to get your type of guys in here. I think we should be the most we've been excited in a long time. And I know we do this every 4 years when we switch coaches and then we get excited again. But you know what? I don't think this is a sugar high right here. I don't think this one is a quick fix. I think this one right here is for longevity. Yeah. And I think we should be satisfied and happy with that because the Dallas Cowboys, they fell short. Yeah. We know they did. The New York Giants stink. In Philadelphia, they having problems communicating with the coaches. So everything is right for this to be our time again. So I think everything looks good.
Well, I think you spoke on just talking about how we feel right now, just this not being a sugar high. And I'm not sure if everybody was even excited about these guys. But one of the things that I said, you know, just as far as regardless of who we have as a coach, allow them to come in and coach this team. Allow them to come in here and earn your guys, you know, earn our excitement or the respect. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I'm looking forward to. I think when you look at some of the things that the head coach is going to do, Quinn, for instance, just seeing what he did defensively as a D coordinator, bringing Joe Witt in. I mean, we had that first sit down with Joe Witt.
Energy everywhere, man.
Man, I mean, you know, some of the questions we asked him, he was spot on, just telling us, you know, from just us watching them guys play over there in Dallas, you can see what he was talking about. So I'm intrigued about that. But not only just having some of those guys in here, some of the offensive minds that we have, you know, with the running back coach, the offensive coordinator, having those guys around, just knowing that all these guys coached a lot of football.
All ex-head coaches.
You know, and ex-head coaches. One of the things that Quinn spoke on in his presser is that he didn't only want to get, you know, good coordinators in here. He wanted to get the guys behind them so he can develop them as well to be replacements in case these guys do a hell of a job, which we expect them to, and get head coaching offers. So that's something, too, that kind of, you know, raised my eyebrows. And I'm just looking forward to it. I think we all should be, you know, excited, you know, because it's just something new, like, you know, B-Mitch said, it's new. But at the same time, I think we finally got a group of guys in here that know what it takes to get the best out of a team, you know. Some of the things that Whit talked about is these guys going to fly around and practice. Yeah. And that's what we've been waiting on for the last few weeks. Man, B-Mitch speak on it every week. Like, these guys have to practice to go in. In order for you to play the way that we want to see these guys play, you have to do it throughout the week. And that's the first thing that jumped off with these guys. They're talking about how we practice. This might not be for you. You know, you can get up out of here.
Like, for everybody.
All that stuff, we understand that because we've been a part of organizations or staffs that was like that. We had to go out there and get it through the week so it could come easy on Sunday. So I'm excited about it, and I think we all should be looking forward to it.
Who's going to be the first person to step to the microphone and
don't get
give
scared
us the first
now.
question?
We got somebody.
There we go.
Don't be afraid now.
The first one is always the toughest one. All right. Here we go.
A couple days ago, they had some discussion on the NFL Network about whether the 40-yard dash is actually worth it at the combine. Yeah. I know all 3 of your speeds at the combines. I know you set the record right, Rick. So, two-part question. Is the 40 worth it at the combine? And follow up on that, is the combine useful? I mean, is the game tape from college more useful than the combine or the underwear Olympics?
Great question.
Great question.
I think the game tape is most important, but I think the combine, just like the game tape, is a part of the whole experiment. Okay, per se. You have to have the analytics people are to tell you what they think. Then the football guys are going to look at you and see if you live up to it. And then they watch you play football, and then you go to the underwear Olympics, as you state.
Yeah.
I always think back to Mike Mamula, who was projected to go like 4th, 5th round.
Yeah.
He went to the combine, ran a 4.5. They drafted him in the first round. He might have had 6 sacks in 6 years. So the guy didn't become a better player. I think the combine has become a talking point for fans. More than it is for the people that are making the decisions. They look at that 40 and they go, man, this guy can run, but why can't he catch the ball? And that guy don't get drafted for a lot of it. But so it's useful in a sense, but what it is for the NFL right now, the combine beats the NBA, Major League Baseball, and NHL when it comes to their playoff games. They beat them. So the NFL is saying, listen, if you're going to look at this, we're going to show it to you. Because people want to see it. But it's not the end-all, be-all.
I think more so now it's something just to watch. Don't get me wrong. It's useful. You get certain guys that you're going to say, okay, we're looking for that 40. The skill guys. You know, cornerbacks, wide receivers, running backs. Not so much running backs no more, but, you know, those three skill guys. And then now, you know, defensive guys are so fast now as far as D-linemen. You got guys running ridiculous times. But I'm not sure if it's just something that you got to, you know, kind of really judge those guys on. I've seen a lot of guys go out there and not run so good or not test well. And that's how you are in school. You know, I wasn't a great tester, but you couldn't tell me that I didn't know what I was, you know, taught throughout the week. So it's, you know, it is what it is, I think, when it comes down to it. But I will say this. If a guy didn't test well, didn't run a 40 well, didn't do all those stuff in front of everybody well, go back and watch the film. The film of how many years he played, especially if he was a guy that played 4 years. That's all you need. And whether you're gonna drop him lower in the draft because of what he did, you know, at the combine, that's on you as a staff. But I wouldn't just put that over a guy's head and say because he didn't run a good enough 40, he didn't come out here and compete amongst all these guys. Because you got to understand something too. When you at the combine, you go through rigorous things throughout that week or throughout those 3 days to where it's not even favoring you to go out there and perform well. You got to be in line waiting on this guy, that guy, things that you don't do when you getting ready to go play your game or when you in practice, you know, with your team. So I don't really hold it against guys. I will say if you're a skilled guy, you want to run the 40 well more than anything. But I've also seen so many guys that ran great 40s that didn't produce on the field. So I get mad at that when I see a guy who didn't do nothing in 2 or 3 years in college, and then he runs this 4.2, and they say, okay, we draft him in the first round. That's shame on that organization. That's shame on that team. But I wouldn't hold it over guys' head. I think it's something good to kind of use with the film. But to me, if I had to be in that situation as a GM or a staff, I'm going to grade the guy what I saw him do throughout those white lines.
Well, I think when you look at it, you got to ask yourself, what is it? It was what started in the early '80s, and it was combined medical. That's what it started as. Combined medical tests where they brought you here to see how your body holding up, what's going on with your body, plus doing interviews. Now, over time, it's grew because like anything else, they add different challenges to it. And now, like B-Miss said, now it becomes a show. And now it's a part of how you look at us. Like if Fred go there and run a 4.7, you're like, yeah, he can play and he can talk, but he's slow as a snail. No, I'm not slow. I was slow that day. But you had watched me run behind wide receivers in the SEC for 3 years. So, you know, I say combined it all. It's like people taking on analytics now. Can I get something from analytics? Yes, I can. Can it be the end-all, be-all? No, it can't. So I think it goes into like the department of the interviews that we have to go through. And what y'all don't know, from the time we land in Indianapolis, the first stop is the hospital. We're there for 8 hours, giving up quarts of blood, and now you want me to bench press 225 the next day and run a 40. So sometimes that what Tanner was leaning on is sometimes you ask to push the body to the limits. And they also testing you mentally. You do a test for the New York Giants with 300 questions on it. Asking what you'll do on a walk in Manhattan. I don't know yet. I don't have a clue. So like I say, they test you mentally, physically, and emotionally there also, because they get very personal with the questions. But me, myself, I think believe what you see. Like the one thing I know about Jerry Rice, one of the best, if not one of the best football players of all time, they clocked him at a 4.6.
4.6, and he ran past all the 4.2s.
I've never seen him get ran down from behind by nobody. So either you could play the game, and that's what I think this coaching staff like. They like football players. Like they said that already. I don't care about all the other stuff. I like football players. And if you're going to get football players, they're going to be all a little different in the way they get things done. And I think the combine is how they figure out what makes us tick. And do we love football? I think that's the process they chase there.
Anybody ever been chased by a dog?
Yeah, it's made for television. If you notice, the San Francisco 49ers didn't send anybody from their organization this year. Every year there's going to be less and less input from top flight players. It is seen its best days. Something new will come up. It's like the invention of the iPhone. I'm a payphone guy. I'm from the payphone era. That's done.
What's that?
It's payphone, okay?
Don't y'all clap about that. We all use the payphone.
Well, I'm just saying. So it was cute. It was a good thing. If you had nothing else to do, like I just watched the big guys run in the who's the sportscaster that runs for charity?
Rich Eisen.
Rich Eisen. That's all I care about. Yeah. Rich Eisen running it, because I know that it's useless in terms of determining who I want on my team. And that's just it. Who we got next?
So like the question I asked, like, anybody ever been chased by a dog?
Everybody in here been chased by a dog.
I would say if you got chased by a dog, they should chime you 40 then.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's just like being chased by a linebacker.
That's right.
By Ken Harvey, like I said earlier.
Yeah, Ken Harvey.
You don't run a lot faster than you normally would run if somebody's chasing you, so nobody knows.
You're right.
All right, guys. So if it was your decision, what would you do with the second pick?
We'll take this one at a time, fellas. Who want to start first?
We're going to let you start first.
Yeah, you start first.
Yeah, you start.
All right. It's all about circumstances. The great part about it, we got one pick in front of us. Can't be but one player out this whole draft picked before us. And It's probably gonna be Caleb Williams. I hate to be, bearer of bad news. So now you got to say, who else do I want? Now I've been big on Drake May. I've been big on him. I like the arm. I like the flashes. He's fast outside the pocket than people think he is. He can really run. Got a pro body. He's 21 years old. I think he still got a lot of growing to do. But I think he will be a great keystone if we can get a guy like that. And I've heard the comparison. Oh, he a taller Sam Howell. I didn't think Sam was bad. We didn't set Sam up for success. So at the end of the day, I always tell people it's not if you get drafted, it's where do you get drafted to, because the wrong place can shape your career. So I think with this coaching staff, and we got a lot of different backgrounds. We're going to have a running game similar to the 49ers. We're going to have a passing game, a little bit of air raid. We're going to have so it's different facets to this. So I looked, and we was talking before we was out there having a debate about Jaden Daniels, because a lot of people like Jaden Daniels. I like Jaden Daniels too, but it's just a little stench. R3-4 right there on him, you know what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna say. I think he could be a great player.
He knows how to slide, Fred. He's not RG.
I understand, but if it was my choice, mine personally, if I'm not trading down, I am taking Drake May at 2.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I think you can't miss with either three of those top quarterbacks. I was hoping that Chicago kept Fields and Caleb dropped because they didn't have no need for him. So then now he drops to our number 2 pick. But it looks like they're probably going to get rid of Fields, so it's no question that they probably will be shooting for Caleb. Now we at 2, and you got who he likes, Drake May or
Jaden
Daniels. Mm-hmm. I think it's not sold who's going to go second right now.
It's not.
So it's going to be a lot of, probably leading up to that week, you're going to hear so much comparison between the two. Whether we get the guy who can run with the ball and who could do some exciting things, and with the deep ball, or whether we get the guy who's 6'4" and look like Paul Bunyan's son that can stand in the pocket or get outside the pocket, I wouldn't be mad. Yeah. I think when it gets down to it, man, you can't. We need a quarterback, and I won't say we need one because I still believe in Sam too. I'm a firm believer that when you get somebody around him that can coach him and then put him in a better situation, I think. Last year, a lot of what we saw transpire the later part of the season was just us dropping the kid back too many times and
putting him in danger.
Trust me, man, I've been a receiver in this game for a long time. When you fighting those demons right here, it's hard to go out there and play well. And I'm pretty sure the guy was in his head. I saw him in his head a long time ago, and it just showed up a little more in his game throughout the season. So. But I think you really can't miss. So either three of those quarterbacks I would be okay with. But I don't see us – I wouldn't want to trade down.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to get like a
J.J. McCarthy maybe?
Not even that. Just like a whole bunch of more picks. And I don't think that's – I don't think no one's willing to give that up right now. So I would be all right with either one. But if you ask me who I prefer, who he calls RG4, I probably prefer him.
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Well – I know Jaden Daniels can run the football, and I think that's the problem. When you have a guy that can run the football effectively, people forget that they can pass the ball as well.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels was a better passer than Drake May this year.
Oh, he was.
He worked in the pocket for 3,800 yards, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. But he still ran the ball 1,000 yards and ran 10 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. So if you have that type of weapon, and I understand Robert ran the ball a lot, but Robert was very effective his rookie year and won Rookie of the Year when he listened to the coaches that ran the ball. Yeah. When he stopped running, he became a worse quarterback. Mm-hmm. So Jaden Daniels not going to stop running. He just needs to slide.
Yeah, that's his game.
Okay?
Yeah.
I think when we look at this thing, we look at Caleb Williams' year he had when he won the Heisman, and then the next year it dropped off. Mm-hmm. Jaden Daniels at Arizona, every year he improved. He improved every year at LSU. He played the tougher competition, and I think I would go with him. Because my thing is not necessarily what you do, is what you do, who you do it against. And there's basically no defense in college football anymore. It damn sure ain't none in the Pac-12. So we talk a lot about we give Caleb a lot of credit, but he's playing against high school defenses. To be honest with you. But I watched the SEC, and that's a tough division.
Yeah,
that man chewed that up.
Yeah.
So I know he's skinny. Hell, when I got drafted, people were like, oh, you're too small to play. I weighed more than Emmitt Smith and Barry Sanders, but they say I was a small running back. See, the NFL throws stuff out a lot of times about people your size don't mean a damn thing. If you were built right,
yeah.
Fred was 160 pounds. He played
75.
He didn't stop talking. But it's just like, I think the draft has become more of what somebody doesn't do.
Let's find out why
and
not
we don't
draft
argue
him.
about what they do.
Yeah.
Okay? So I think when we look at what happened last year, not many people have put up a better
Season than that.
resume than what Jaden Daniels did. So
Can't lose with either of them. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, I like Daniels as well, but I'm going to play off the fact that somebody does something really stupid every year. And I'm going to dangle that second pick and hope that New England or somebody does something really dumb. And I'm going to take advantage of that, and I'm going to let them be dumb. And I'm going to get Joe Alt or the tackle from LSU. And I'm going to get my quarterback at 7 or 8, kid from Michigan, whoever. So I'm going to try to rob an idiot. That's what I'm doing.
Y'all done got him started now.
We got
Hey,
90 million,
you
though.
put the corn in the machine. Don't get mad when it don't stop now. That's what y'all doing. Right now. Y'all
I'm
putting
just
the
telling
corn
you.
in the machine right
Somebody
now.
going to do something stupid. They do it every year. Yeah, I'm going to get me a bundle.
Well, waiting on other questions. Come on up.
Yeah, come on.
Don't be
get
shy.
scared now. Don't be
We're
shy.
Randy.
There we go. We got some.
Oh, here we go.
Talk trash all the time. Come on, you can think of something else. Don't let them steal your thunder.
So because it feels like this organization has been rebuilding for forever, how much grace or leeway do you give the current coaching staff in regards to how much time you're willing to give them individually, each one of you?
Fred?
I don't think it's grace or leeway. They said they got a standard. I'm gonna hold them to it. Like, it ain't really grace, it ain't really leeway, but I'm also gonna be logical.
Yeah.
I also know if I go out here and draft a 21-year-old quarterback, he won't be Joe Montana next year.
Yeah.
Like, I think when people see what happened in Texas, in Houston this year, they think that's the norm.
Yeah.
That is not the norm to take a rookie quarterback and go to the playoffs. So we talk about a rebuilding process. Do y'all know we got 23 players on this team? We ain't even got half a team. That means 3/4 of your team will be brand new. No matter if they're a free agent, no matter if they fresh out of college, they will be new to this area, new to this team. So I just say they setting the standard. I want to watch the standard be set.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to use my own smarts to know now it's time. All right, now, because we got to watch some of these guys grow. And if you got kids in here, you know you're going to go through some growing pains with kids. It's going to be some good days. It's going to be some bad days. But it's worth it when you watch them graduate.
Yeah, I think one of the things that is probably would be wise for any staff or any new regime to come in and say, don't really put a number up there and say, hey, I got 4 years to do this, I got 3. Just go out there and get the guys you want and coach them up.
Yeah.
I think when you do that, then we don't sit here and worry about how long it's going to take. We would see the production on the field. I do believe it don't take a while. It don't take a long time. I remember coming in here in 05, and the year before, they had just got Clinton. And the season wasn't well, but you can see some of the things. And Coach Gibbs had just came back that previous year also. In 05, we didn't know what we was going to do. Our quarterback go down in the first game, trots out Mark Brunell, and then we went out there and put on a show every week. So that tells me that, and that wasn't my first year experiencing something like that. I was in New York for 4 years. Every year, Chad Pennington got hurt, and I had a new quarterback, and we had to go out there. And we went to the playoffs 3 out of those 4 years I was there, and won 2 of them in 2 of those years. So, you know, when I hear all this stuff about, it takes 4 years, it takes, we got to develop. No, it doesn't. If you coach these guys up well enough, you get the right guys out there, they will go out there and they'll run through a wall for you and you'll win games. So I'm not dwelling on time. I just want to see these guys come in. The coaches already kind of set the tone by what they're looking for, and it's shown already with some of the guys we're getting rid of. You got to have guys in here that's going to contribute, and especially when they long in the tooth, like some of the guys we've had around here, they have to produce on the field. Can't be just in the locker room, can't hear them in the news. They have to be out there doing something, making a difference. So I think this staff knows that. And, when you have a coach that's been where Quinn's been and been talked about throughout those years of what he didn't do, he's coming in here with this second opportunity to go out here and I'm not saying necessarily prove a point, but to make sure that, he doesn't go out there half-assed. You know what I mean? So I don't see a number. I don't think about the grace part of it. It's a great question But I just feel like this staff knows what it takes to go out there and be a winner, and they're going to get the guys in here first, and then they're going to go out there and go to work.
I think what you have to do is, I know the past has been tragic. It's been very, very harmful. But what you have to do is not think about them according to what the past was. Yeah. And I think I talk about this on the radio all the time about when you look in your rearview mirror, it's a little small thing, but you got that whole windshield out in front of you. You have to see if you have any growth going on, and if you see some growth, then you understand what's happening. I think what they've said that, we're going to hit the ground running. Yeah. And the thing that I love the most is that the whole coaching staff talks about intensity. So the complaining about practice last year, you'll probably be gone. So the ultimate thing is, it's not a time limit on it. You do give them grace in the sense like the first year they're not going to the playoffs and Super Bowl. Yeah. If they do, we'll be happy as hell. Yeah. But ultimately, normally you got to see the building of it. Getting the right blocks in place, building the foundation. And if you see that, then you start to be able to. Now you judge. Now you can gauge. You can start judging and engaging on that. But ultimately, I don't know if it's a certain time limit, but I'm just like you. I want to see the thing happen yesterday, to be honest with you. But I understand, like Fred said, what happened in Houston isn't normal, but teams going from worst to first happens a lot.
Yeah.
So, I need to see some level of growth if I'm going to believe in the story.
Well, the myth was knocked down last year when the defensive head coach in Houston won with a rookie quarterback. So it knocked down all these myths. So you get a guy down in Texas who went in, and the African-American coach comes in who gets a job against popular demand. Yep. They draft a quarterback that people didn't think would make it, and they proved everybody wrong. We lost our first 5 games with Joe Gibbs here, and everybody thought, well, it's going to be a tank. You get the right people in a room. Our strength and conditioning coach, Dan Riley, our special teams coach, Wayne Sevier, you got to get some son of a bucks in the room. This staff, Joe Witt Jr. and them boys, I'm not worried about these guys at all. They just got to get the right people in the room, and I think they are going to do that. This is supposed to happen instantly if you get the right people. It's a new day, it's a new sheriff in town, and I'm expecting this thing to happen based on injuries. Now, what can hurt you is if your people get hurt. But if these guys are healthy, they're going to be all right. Who's up next?
I want to know, what is y'all grace period? Y'all asking us as the fans, will one of y'all tell us what do y'all expect and what's your grace period? What you think?
I mean, I would say pretty much based on the resume of the staff that was brought in. I don't give a whole lot. There's not a whole lot of grace I have to give.
You got a year of grace, and then the year after you need to see some.
I'll take that.
All right.
Who we got next?
High standard for great people. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I was just curious. You guys all played for multiple teams. Brian, I'm a big fan. You went and played for every team in the NFC East except for one. Yeah, what was?
I was very smart.
The question is, and this is for you as for everybody else, what was it like at the other organizations? What were they doing that was different, that made them succeed? And can that happen here? Because I'm inspired by the worst to first, okay? And I want to hear your
To be honest with you, they were doing, when I went to Philly, they were doing what we were doing here in my early days, where the coaches believed in the players and the head coach allowed the assistant coaches to do their job without micromanaging, and they also allowed the players to have a say, and I got to New York, the owners had given up. They said they were going to fire Fausto at the end of the year, so we had all hell break loose. Yeah. If you don't have you don't have leadership from your coach, then the players are not going to listen to them. But when I look at the teams that were successful, like the 49ers and stuff like that, where I talk to a lot of guys, players have ownership in this thing. So if they allow players to have some say, you give them a part. Let them have ownership of it. When players believe they are listened to, they work even harder. You don't have to tell them to work, okay? But if you always telling them how they're going to do things, when they're going to do things, they don't gain that strength. They don't grow, So I think that's what you need to do. You need to make sure. And then have leadership groups on your team. Let the guys on the team know who the guys they're going to listen to. Yeah. Let those guys be that liaison between you and your team and let them help you out. You know, I heard about what y'all call it the kangaroo court, but I heard about stuff on every team that I was on. I was a part of it, you know, and when I got here, they had it already in place. You need to have that. If the players cannot help run their own team, you're going to have some problems.
I've been to 2 places. I was in New York for 4 years. I got drafted by the Jets, and immediately we was winning. You know, I was hurt my whole rookie season, but I got a chance to sit back and watch. The one thing I would take from those 4 years that I've learned, it was about the players. You know, we had coaches that coached well. Can't not take no credit from them, but it was about the players. We had players, man. We had guys that policed every room. When I say policed every room, every position had a guy or two that was just going to hold their room accountable. Similar to what I saw in 05 here. I think the difference between the two teams in New York, we couldn't be men. We was basically watched over. Everything we did, it was someone watching us, and I found that strange because I had just went 4 years in Miami and where I was living the life, and then now I'm in the NFL with money and I got a guy following me home. You know what I mean? Trying to make sure I made curfew. So that was odd, but we won, and people didn't bother. It didn't bother you until somebody kept, you know, just, you know, trying to say you wasn't doing something or you was out too late or something like that. But we won, so we didn't complain a lot. When I got here, man, I didn't know what it was crazy. It was free. I was in the hotel the night before the game, and everybody was leaving, and I'm like, man, we ain't winning tomorrow, you know?
No, we're not.
but I will say we went out and kicked behind.
Yeah.
So I learned quickly, like, sometimes you got to allow men to be men. You know what I mean? Let guys do what they do. That makes them be able to go out there and do what they do on Sundays. And, you know, it's all up to you. I was a guy that I had to be in the room. I had to do what I had to do to be in order for me to put that kind of effort out on the field. So I knew what it takes for me to go out there and do my part. But I think it's all about just having the guys. You know, for years we've been watching these teams. I think we've been lack of a lot of guys. So we have key players here and there, but we didn't have a team. Yeah. You know, because, I mean, I've seen it time and time again. We get a couple of guys out there. We say, okay, that guy can play, but he just there. Yeah. You know, and I saw it defensively. I saw it offensively. Mm-hmm. You know, you can't have great skill guys that don't have an offensive line and try to win like that. So, we gonna patch it up. Mm-hmm. You can't put patches on nothing in this league. You know, you have to really go out there and get the key guys that's gonna make things move. And so I think it's all about that more than anything. If you ask me, when it comes to winning and losing, if you ain't got the guys, you ain't gonna win. You're gonna hear the excuses from the coaches because they're gonna try to make it sound good because they know they dropped the ball without going out there and getting the guys. But I think it's truly about the players. And when you have the players, it don't matter who you have at coach. They don't have to be coached well. Yep. Those guys are gonna go out there and perform because they know what it takes to go out there and win. So it's all about the guys in the room. It's all about the guys on the field. A great coach will tell you. Coach Gibbs said it all the time. It's not about me. It's about those guys who going out there to play. Like, sometimes they're not going to put you in the best situation, in the best position. But the guys who on the field, they don't want to look bad. You know we all getting judged and graded. And, I used to hate going home, with my head down. And even when I know we lost the game, I wanted to make sure that I did something, to the point to where the fans can, like, exclude me out of the whole crap I heard. So, it's about the guys.
Never do. They never do.
No, they don't. It's about the guys. So I think more than anything, I'm loving what we have coaches-wise, but you have to go out there and get the right guys to come out here. And I mean, when I say right guys, meaning get yourself a complete team. Like I said before, we know where we weak at. Offensive line-wise, we need to rebuild that line badly. No matter what we have in the backfield on the outside or at quarterback, especially at quarterback. If you don't have the guy protecting and blocking for those guys, we going to be nothing. So it's all about the guys. If we could do that, then we can see things going.
Got the next one.
All right, who we got?
How you doing, guys? Got 2 quick questions for you. Tim will follow up what you just said about the roster, and B. Mitch got a question for you. But right now we got, you said 23 players, Fred?
23, 24 players.
Free agents. We got $90 million in cap space.
Yeah.
But 5 picks in the top 100. Adam Peters already said, we're going to build through the draft. $90 million, we ain't going to hit that. Yeah. We're going to spend a little bit. We're going to build through the draft. First question, what do you think about that? Second question, B. Mitch, when are you going to get rid of this mic and put a whistle in your mouth and be a coach.
Oh, no, don't do that to them
And
kids.
Steve Smith need to be coaches. Get rid of this damn mic and be a coach.
Were you the person that
Hell yeah, that was me.
tweeted
Yes.
that to me? The other
Yes,
day?
I did. And I'm gonna keep saying it until you actually do it. You are better
know what,
off
man? You have
off this
to have-
mic. Get on the field, man.
But you have to have the love and desire to do that. And believe me, I'm not doing anything from 7 in the morning to 9, 10 at night. You see Steve Smith, he want to choke out the people that work with him.
Certain people just not meant to coach. Let me be where me be at. But I think when you hire people, I think I do a good job of this. I let them do their job. Like, if we hired Aaron Peters to do a job, let's sit back and watch him do the job. Like, we can't get in front of it, the horse in front, like he said. I don't want him to go out here and splurge and spend all $80 million, and now in 2 years we in cap trouble. You can't buy a team overnight. We tried to do that before. I think with Dion and them the year before I got here. It just don't work because the best players don't win Super Bowl. The best teams win Super Bowls. And if you're going to put a team together, you methodically do that. You start to add a piece here, a piece here, a piece here, and when you're ready to bubble and everybody ready to graduate, that's when you put the full cut press on because you're missing one pass rusher or you missing one lockdown corner. And now you can sell out and say, you know what, let's go get this guy, let's go try to win this championship. But I say this, if you're going to trust the baker, let him bake. Give him time to make it happen.
Fuller, Reeves, who else we got out there?
You asking me how these guys coming back?
Look, should we sign them?
You know what? I believe when I go in the grocery store, I'm going to look around before I put stuff in my bag. Right? That's the key. You know, it might be something new that came out.
Are you shopping at Giant or Wegmans?
you know I'm a Wegman man myself. Now. I can get lost in Wegmans. But what I'm saying is, I think they need to see what's out there everywhere. Like, so when they turn over every stone, don't get mad. You should like that they turning over every stone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you don't have to leave. You asked like 4 questions already.
I got some more, baby.
I'll help you. All right. My question is about Emmanuel Forbes. Okay. Do you think that, it looked like A.J. Brown in that game against him really messed up his head? Did he show hope at the end of the season that he's going to be a future cornerback on this team?
Oh, yeah, let me get that right for you. Yeah, I clean it up. Check this out. Please do. We all got kids in here. And I really don't think there's a such thing as bad kids. I think it started with bad parents. All right? So if you teach me wrong, I'm going to go do wrong. We gave him a former high school coach last year to prepare him for pros. But luckily, what we did was go get the interception leader for the last 15 years in our coordinator. And when I say these numbers, y'all might think I'm tripping. 157 interceptions with his time in Green Bay, Joe Witt. All right? With the Cowboys for the last 3 years, they led the NFL with 57. So long as 59, telling you right. So long as Emmanuel Forbes' confidence ain't beat up from this year, and what he got to learn, the only cornerback that ain't never gave up a pass is the one that ain't never played a game. Yeah. All right, it's part of it. Mentally, you have to be ready to get beat up, and you can get beat up for 3 quarters. But when I need you in that 4th quarter to make this play, that's all people care about. So yes, we can fix and repair him, and we got the right doctor to get the job done.
I hope you're right.
Amen. Amen.
Wow.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, I'm from Washington, D.C., and I've been bleeding burgundy and gold since I was in my mom and dad's arms. So some of us here, few of us here, because nobody looks as old as me, remember the Posse and the Fun Bunch and the Hogs and watching them play and win. We also remember B. Mitch in the body bag game. I was at that game. It was cold. It was cold. But you all seem to still bleed burgundy and gold as retirees. How do we get all the players that come to play for this team as rookies, as players that have been playing for several years, to come in and bleed the burgundy and gold and want to be here and want to create a winning tradition that we used to have? Walk the walk, not just talk the talk.
Well, I think what happens is what's happening here. When Josh Harris and his crew came in, the first thing they did was welcome the former players back. and they're trying their best to make sure you have that connection. When I got here in 1990, it wasn't anybody that had to tell me anything. I saw it. You know, you watch Doc coming around and other guys coming around that had played before. And I'm the youngest of 7 kids, so what you do, you want to impress the people that came before you. So I started to do that and became cool with Doc and a lot of other guys. And I think what you do, all of a sudden when it becomes a family, you know, instead of having a thing where that was cut off for a moment, you know, so guys come in now, they don't have a mindset of not talking to those guys, like those guys are the enemies or whatever. You know, the whole thing about it, in my family, we tell each other the truth. Okay, if you mess up, you're going to be told about it. So why is it that I have to always say something positive when you're not doing well? And if you understand that it's not coming from a place of trying to be disrespectful, it's coming from a place of love, then all of a sudden you find that togetherness happens. Hell, Doc is a little older than me.
You didn't want to say the number, huh?
13 years older than me. But we can talk about anything. And I feel comfortable going to him and talk. Tanner and I, and Fred, Fred and I, the first time I met Fred on the football field, I wanted to kill him because he was talking too much. But we became buddies, and Tanner and I hung all year, so we got to know each other well. The thing of it is, like, you don't know who somebody is until you talk to them.
Yeah.
Don't let somebody else tell you what somebody's about. Go reach out to them and talk to them and find out what they're about. And I guarantee you, any former player that bleeds burgundy and gold can make sure he can teach a younger player or keep him from doing something stupid to where he'll be doing the same thing.
I think it's about the brotherhood. I think he hit it spot on. Similar to what I experienced in college at the University of Miami. Like, we would literally be in the locker room and bust through the door. Lamar Thomas, Michael Irvin, some of the greats would just come in there and sit on the couch with us and chop it up. And no guy, especially me, I mean, I'm a Miami guy, born and raised. You don't want to let those guys down before you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember sitting on the couch with Rohan Marley, and I remember telling him a story about him as when he was in college. We had this little park across the street from my house. All the Jamaicans would come play soccer on every Sunday. And me and my brothers played sandlock on that field. And we had a big sandlock game come on, and all these cars come in, and the guys basically moved us off the field. But Rohan, and I know him because I was a big football fan, he was like, he felt bad that we had to move. So he like, hey, throw me the ball. I threw him the ball. He told me to go deep. He threw me a pass. He didn't know that was me. I told him, I said, bro, I remember you because I watched you just that Saturday play, and then I hear you go playing soccer across the street from my home. But it was a brotherhood. And I think when I got here, that's something that I didn't see in New York. Immediately, Gary Clark was in my ear. Like, Gary told me, Tanner, if you leave, after my first season here, Gary said, if you leave from up here, I'll be pissed off with you. And I'm like, I didn't understand what Gary was talking about. I had told myself, I'm in my head, like, I'm 25 years old when I got here, so I'm like, yeah, after 10 years here, 6 years here, I'll be back in Miami. That's how I was thinking. But every year, after playing with these guys, seeing the guys before me who won championships, be here, be supportive of what we was doing, whether we win or losing, the fan base alone made me feel like I was at home. Like, I wasn't even homesick. In New York, my bags was packed. You know, when the season was ending, we was going to the playoffs, and guys come to my house like, tell them who. I'm like, man, whenever we lose, I'm gone, And I hate to say that, but I was young and naive at that time. But I was just ready to go. I didn't feel like it was home for me. Here, man, I would be up here months after the season over with because I knew it was home. I just felt it from the fans. I felt it from the guys. And I think that's what it's going to take. A lot of the young guys we try to connect with, you get close to one or two of them, they're different. They're so different.
It's a new generation.
I mean, they're different. I mean, they remind me of my kids. And I hate to say it that I'm that much older than them, so I see it, Yeah. But it's just hard. But I think the ones that get it. They would be around. They would still stay, connected to what we have going on here. But I think you'll be a fool not to. I think I think the last few years kind of leave some of the guys who came in the door and probably going to be going out, probably leave a bitter taste in their mouths. But I saw how successful we can be when we had a winning product out there. And I wanted it. I wanted to be a part of something because I came from that. You know what I'm saying? I came from a winning tradition. And I just wanted to be a part of that. And I told myself, even though I did leave after my last year here, I went back home and got my education, went and got my MBA. when I came back to work, it was just like, yeah, I wasn't going nowhere. My house was still here. I knew I was going to be connected some kind of way, but I think it was the guys before me and just the fan base alone that kept me around. I think that's all we need. And those guys who going to be here, they will stay.
All right. Who's next? Let's keep this thing going.
This has nothing to do with players. Well, maybe it does. According to reports, 2023, the National Football League was worth $163 billion. Do you see the NFL going to the NBA and the baseball leagues with all guaranteed contracts?
Ooh,
never.
I think it's too much of a contact sport. I think they'll start to get three-fourths of the money. I think they'll start to incorporate, or maybe make smaller deals that more guaranteed money.
Yeah.
I think the NFL will go international before they go guaranteed contract. I think
That's
they'll
gonna
go
happen.
put a team in London or Brazil or something before they get a guaranteed contract.
I will say Kirk Cousins behind that deal, then they might get it
I'm
done.
just saying. Yeah, but see, but every Kirk Cousins, then you got a Deshaun Watson that make you don't want to do it.
But the whole thing is that they're going to have to find a way. I've been through some of those lockouts and union deals. If you stick together, you can get it.
Yeah.
But a lot of football players are selfish as hell.
No, I would say they not going to stick
Like the
together.
quarterbacks want to do the quarterback thing, but they know they got to depend on the rest of the damn team. If sometimes the quarterbacks also put their voice with the offensive linemen, the people that chase them down, those defensive ends, and things of that nature, you can see it begin to go there. But I've been in the locker room trying to get 53 guys to agree. You're not going to get 1,800 to agree. Because they're thinking about, man, I got to get my money.
I need that check.
You know what I'm saying? So it'll be hard. But ultimately, the signing bonus is what makes a lot of these guys tick. And what people don't know about those guaranteed contracts in those other sports, there are clauses that you don't get that money if you do something stupid, too. So it's not 100% guaranteed. It's guaranteed if you follow all the rules.
But with cable, what's happening with cable and with streaming, and now with Netflix and all these, that's what's going to blow this thing open. And as you mentioned, opening game now in Brazil and all this international, the money's going to be so large. If they can get the quarterbacks, what they're going to start trying to do is separate the quarterback salaries.
They already have.
Yeah, that's what's going to, they're going to try to do it. If the quarterbacks stay with the deal, won't happen. But you're right. It's going to be crazy. Because now making you pay for playoff games, that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, it is.
And that's going to be dangerous.
But I think also with just the streaming stuff and the cable, the more money that they getting from those different outlets, then the more money that we would get as players. And so I think that is something. I think one of the things we got to pay close attention to, it's only a matter of time they do separate, because it's no way you build a team with the quarterback getting so much money these days.
$400 million.
You know what I mean? Like, think about Kansas City, like, you know, all the money they gave to their quarterback. It's crazy. They still have a great team, but they had
a
no
young
receivers.
defense.
They had no receivers because of that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And a young defense. They got away with murder.
So
and the Ravens really blew it.
So that shows you that, you know, in a couple of years, it would change drastically, because the numbers just keep going up. That money is getting higher and higher and higher.
The franchise player was designed so the team could pay the franchise player, and he would not really hurt or have to leave to go to another team.
Right.
Like the NBA, they're designated franchise player. That guy could get more money than
By staying
and
with his original
it
draft.
won't go above the cap.
Yeah.
I think what the NFL did, they took it after a while and made it into it's a negative, basically. When they don't want to pay somebody, give them a franchise tag, try to give them a one-year deal. But if they make the quarterback to be able to get paid, if you want to keep your quarterback for the most part. So if I make you the franchise guy, you stay, you don't count against the cap, and I go with the other people. That's how they need to do that. Go back to what it was designed to be.
All right, young man.
Who's next?
You up.
What do y'all think we should pick after our second round pick? Well, with our second round picks, who do you think we should pick in the
Offensive lineman.
Hey, I can say I'm great you asked that question because they act like they only care about the quarterback.
Yeah.
But at one point, we got to get some other players on here. And if you really want to know, an NFL team is made up second round, third round, fourth round, seventh round players.
Undrafted free agents.
Just skip the fifth round.
Undrafted
You
free
said nothing
agents.
about the fifth round.
Fifth round, my fault. Sixth round, seventh round, in dot time, 12th round. You know what I'm saying?
But we also have to focus on the fact that we need an edge rusher.
Yes, most definitely. We need an edge rusher, and we got to understand guys like Chop Robinson. Ran the 4.40, got the film to back it up. Robinson from Missouri. I think he's a dog. So this is a deep draft for what I call fat boys. Fat boys make your team. Yeah. Like the last time we was a championship team here, we had the Hogs, and we had Dexter Manley and Charles Manley and the rest of them guys on the other side. Now, the skinny guys, we look good getting off the bus, but the big guys dominate the game. All right, so at the end of the day, a guy like Tyler Guyton from Oklahoma, who I think is a beast. Like I like him slob out
he's
their mouth.
sloppy.
You know
Yeah, you're right.
I like him to play for something else.
Yeah.
So I'm taking those second rounders. I could spend it on a tight end like Jatavius Sanders. But I think he's an athlete from Texas.
No, he's a freak.
But we got to get some, like Doc said,
Zero.
we got so many spots to fill. Every time we draft somebody, we got to take a swing. Like, we can't be in here trying to be so picky. We got to be like, yeah, we got to get the best player available sometime. And if it's the big dude, you got to take a shot.
And we also have to not forget that we might have some players that we can resurrect.
Yeah.
Just because we had them mummies coaching here, we might have some guys that might come from up from the dead that can play.
Yeah.
So those are some bonuses that we're going to get.
Expect a big year from Jamin Davis. Expect a big year from Emmanuel Forbes.
Yeah.
Expect Sam Cosmi is here. Sam Cosmi is a rock that nobody talks about.
That's right.
All right, so we got some players. You still got Payne. Look for him to get back to form that he had the year before that. John Allen is a guy coming off of what he would call a slow year. I always ask players, like, what's the other reason you playing? Because the year we went to the playoffs year, we had something we was playing for. We was playing for Sean Taylor. So now, forget the money, forget all the other stuff. What are y'all playing for? And these guys got rings. So they done been in the locker room where they played for something different. So if we can bring these guys in here and play for something different, we might got a chance.
Yeah. What they got to smell like, Doc? They smell like bacon, huh?
Just bacon. The whole locker room smell like bacon.
I have one more question.
All right, go ahead.
Do you think Caleb Williams is overhyped?
How you feel? You tell me how you feel.
I think he's overrated.
And you think he overrated because of his game, or do you think he overrated because of his attitude?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
You think his game is overrated?
Who are the teams that he beat that were really that good? Like, all the teams that he played that were good, he lost to Utah, lost to all these, like, all right teams. But if he plays like a team like Alabama, what is he going to do? Or like Michigan?
He turns the ball over a lot. I think
Yes.
he got like 30 fumbles in the last 3 years, so he will turn the ball over. And that's what you get with a playmaker sometimes. Sometimes they hold the ball too long. Sometimes they don't hold the ball too long. So you're going to get sporadic play with him. But off of pure arm talent, he has that talent. I'm just hoping the person don't get in the way of the player. And that happens from time to time. Think about it. This guy was just making $7 million a year in college.
That's right. That's the problem.
Yeah, so you're dealing with a different monster with these guys, but some guys need that type of energy, and maybe we need that type of energy up there. But he got some swag. He feel good about himself.
Do you think that affects his preparation? Because Pat Mahomes, as good as Pat Mahomes is, and everybody looking for Pat Mahomes, Pat Mahomes was not drafted by 9 teams prior to him being drafted.
Yeah.
And once he got drafted, every one of the pundits said that he does nothing on schedule. Who doesn't do anything on schedule right now?
Yeah, Caleb Williams.
Yep. They said that this guy, he does everything wrong. You can't coach him up. Now everybody wants to get a Pat Mahomes. Why? Because he worked. He dedicated himself to it. I wonder, can some of these dudes who come into college with all of this stuff going on, can they dedicate themselves to football?
Well, I think one of the things that you heard about, that's a great question about Caleb, because if you watched the combine this past weekend, Caleb rose a lot of eyebrows with some of the talks he had with the different teams. Everybody come out of those conversations or those meetings and say he knows ball.
Oh, yeah.
He likes ball.
He's a smart guy.
He's a guy. He's one of those guys that, you know, that he's a gym rat. He's going to be there. And all the guys he played with spoke highly about him, too. So I think he kind of got whatever they perceived of him before this weekend. He raised a lot of eyebrows and kind of changed that narrative about himself after this weekend, because I've heard it, this morning on talk radio and just watching, a couple of channels on ESPN and NFL Network, is everyone was pleased with just the conversation, just chopping it up, talking, chalk talk. And that's what you want. You want a guy that, regardless of who he is, I mean, he's from D.C., so you give him some swag. He got to have swag. He got a little edge. He got to be who he is. I'm scared about just his way of play, because, we seen in this league that you have to be on time at times. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like some of that stuff that Pat Mahomes does, everybody can't do it.
Most people can't do it.
I mean, I watched the game slow down for him. Like, I'm literally watching a game, and this dude just playing at a different pace. You know what I'm saying? So if Caleb has that, then kudos to him. He's going to come in and be great. But you also have to allow the guy to be the guy. You can come out here and show you, what he's worth. But more than anything, I want to see, and I don't know, I don't know where he's going to land. Right now, it's kind of looking like, Chicago's going to get him, and I hate to see him even go to that team, because
Chicago stinks.
It's going to be like they starting all over again. You know what I'm saying?
Let's be honest.
And that's going to go back to what we talked about earlier. What Smoot was talking about, just where you end up at. You know what I'm saying? Like, that might not favor him. So now we might be sitting there talking about, okay, we thought Caleb was going to do what he be seeing him doing.
He a bust.
You know what I'm saying? But I think I like what I've seen. And you talked about some of the teams that he lost to. It's a team sport. I mean, the quarterback get a lot of praise for wins and losses, but you can't do it without the other guys. And I think, you can't really hold that over his head and say, well, he lost to this, lost to that. I look at the games where he was thrown into the game as a rookie. A freshman, and won those games, and just got himself over USC the next year and won the Heisman that year. You look at those games, and then you can really kind of gauge and judge him. But I like what I see, but I do want to see if he can be on time at times, because I do believe he's going to have to find that part of his game as well, against, being who he is and how creative he is outside the pocket.
Who we got next?
Okay. All right, talk to us.
Hey, Carl Sevilla, DC Prime Steaks and Seafood. This is a question for the panel. When you guys come to DC Prime, what is your perfect dish, starting from cocktail and ending with dessert?
Great question, man. I like that. Great question. Let me take you down through there. Let me serenade you.
Appetizer.
You got to start with the appetizer.
Yeah.
Those lobster bites.
Lobster bites. Number one.
They are magical. I don't know who y'all got in the back and where they catch them from. They might be from Maine, but they are some of the fresh. Now, I love the loaded baked potato. I do nothing here without the loaded baked potato, because I had to also pair that up with a T-bone. You understand me?
Oh, no.
And I don't want my T-bone like Tanner won't hit
the filet mignon, man.
You know I like the Wagyu.
The in-bone filet.
I like the Wagyu.
In-bone filet.
But you got to also have the crown jewel of this place, and nobody likes to talk about it. The cream spinach.
Oh, cream spinach, yeah.
The cream spinach. It's a villain.
Cream spinach.
I'm with you.
Cream spinach. I am. Now the cream corn now. Don't sleep on the cream corn. That cream corn.
In other words, just pick anything on the menu.
The cream corn is
but you also have to start off with a glass of Pinot.
Pinot Noir, nice.
Oh, no.
Grigio or Noir?
The Cabernet.
Hey, you can't invite New Orleans, no.
You can't miss me. I start mine off with the calamari.
Yes, sir.
Oh, the calamari.
Yeah. All rings.
You can't forget about the lamb.
All rings.
The lamb.
We asking all these questions. I don't see nothing in front of me.
Hey.
I mean, what the hell?
Did we talk about the in-bone? The ribeye.
So ask me about some damn food, and I got a phone and an empty glass up here in front of me.
Time for a couple more. Anybody else?
All right. Couple more questions. Who out there?
Yeah, y'all got any more questions? Well, come on to the mic.
Let me ask questions to all these people. I don't know why they want me to ask questions, but my question was really to find out why you like Caleb Williams so much more than Michael Penix Jr. Because I know Santana knows University of Washington left-handed quarterback's pretty darn good.
Nah, he is.
He caught a lot of footballs from Mark Brunell.
Yeah.
Well, see, the difference is this. Penix had 2 knee injuries.
2 knee injuries, yeah.
And he's going to be
And he's 25 years old.
If he hadn't had those knee injuries, we'll be having a different conversation.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I like that dude.
Yeah, I like Penix.
He's a straight leader. You watch him when his team was hurting.
In the game.
Yeah, when his team was hurting, the coaches didn't call him up. He did.
Yeah.
And he talked to not only his offense, but his defense and special teams.
Yeah.
See, when I look at coaches or players, I look to see if a guy is only talking to the side of the ball he plays. Or does he talk to everybody?
Amen.
And everybody responded to him. So I love that about him. But when you have 2 knee injuries and they're about to pay you 8 figures,
yeah,
It's gonna be a little tough.
Well, they did pay
gonna be
Tua,
nice,
so
though.
I can't mark
He's
it
nice.
out. He might go first round because they did pay Tua. Tua was still hurt when he got drafted. Michael Penix, I think he really blew them away at the combine.
Yeah.
So I think you're finna see him skyrocket.
Yeah, I was
so a
finna say that.
team that wasn't gonna take a quarterback, maybe the Atlanta Falcons, maybe a team with an older quarterback that know that he's on his last year, so we need to get our guy right now. I can see them taking Michael Penix, and Santa was right. He is left-handed, and catching the left-hand ball is totally different delivery than right hand.
And that W on your shirt is Washington?
Yeah, it'd be better.
That's not Commanders, right? And that's yours.
I root for both teams.
I'm looking at the color. I'm like, okay, that's a little
Mitch, I was there in '91 against the Oilers in the stadium. You remember that game?
Gotcha.
And Santana, I was there in 2000 in Husky Stadium.
Oh, you remember that game?
Oh,
huh?
yeah.
We won that game. I had the game winning touchdown.
You
They
won
called
the
out.
You did not win.
We were
that
supposed to win that game. I'm telling you.
Oh!
I scored the game winning touchdown. They said I was out. All you need is 1 foot in college. Yeah. They robbed us.
You know the
You
good
was
news
there.
for
You
him,
saw
though?
it.
You didn't lose for a very long time after that.
No, we didn't. We
He's
kicked
going to
behind.
end up with a better offensive line.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the good news for him.
Yeah.
The earlier he goes, the worse team he'll be with.
Yeah.
He'll end up with a better team.
Yeah.
It'll end up better for him.
Yeah, Penix gonna be pretty good. I like him. I think.
I do too.
I think that just those 2 knee injuries is probably the only thing that they're gonna hold over his head. But they do that to everybody, and
Yeah,
I
you
think
don't get hurt.
it kind of is gonna favor on his side because now he goes somewhere where they have a team and he can go out there and he's probably gonna be one of those guys they talk about a lot next year,
Almost
his
like
rookie
Lamar.
season.
Like Lamar. He went late, but he went to a great organization, to Baltimore. It's going to work out good for him.
Yep.
All right, brother.
All right.
Yeah.
Good question, man.
All right. From
One
the
more.
state
Who's
of
next?
Washington.
Got another one?
There you go. Come on down.
Got 2 more.
Two more.
Come on down.
Someone took
down.
my earlier one about Forbes.
Yeah.
But I know you talked about the 40 at the combine. Yeah. But Xavier Worthy, I watched his highlights. He can catch.
Yeah, he can catch.
Where do you think he gonna go in the draft? Did he up his?
Run,
Oh,
no.
like 4.22.
I think he
4.21.
Yep.
He broke the record. I know they used to give him like $1 million for breaking that record. Did they?
Well, last year Ross got he got an island or something like that.
yeah.
They paid for an island for him, so I'm not sure what
Did they have buildings on that island?
Yeah. But here go the thing with fast guys, super fast guys. It's a difference between being fast and quick. Quick is the ability to stop and start.
Right.
Fast is the ability to get down the field.
Right.
Usually, if a guy running 4.2 flats and 4.3s, they can't run other routes besides go routes because they can't stop the transition. Well, with this guy Worthy, he seemed to be fast and quick, similar to Santana, giving him the ability to stop and start. So I could see him, especially getting to a team maybe like the Kansas City Chiefs. I hate to say this. I hate to say it. But he won't go as high as Rome Tuesday. He won't go as high as Marvin Harrison Jr., Brian Thomas. He won't go that high, so he will be right there.
But if he gets to Kansas City, that's like being a first-round pick.
No. That's what I'm saying. Because he'll still be the last pick in the first round, and they will like set him up to succeed. Like he'll be very Tyreek Hill like. So the only knock on super fast guys usually is they can't stop.
Yeah. I was watching his highlights. He had a lot of separation.
A lot of
He did, and not a lot of good quarterbacking either.
Exactly.
Yeah, Quinn Ewers is. I'm not with him.
So if we pick up a lineman in free agency, you think we can get him in the second round?
Get who in the second round?
Lineman.
He's not gonna last that long.
No, it could be some linemen left. This is a
No,
deep
I'm talking about
lineman draft.
Worthy.
He's talking about Worthy.
Oh, we won't have a chance.
He won't last that long.
No, he won't last. He won't get past a playoff team. Like he the type player that a playoff team adds to their roster.
Okay. The question is, so Jonathan Allen in the middle of the season said that he was thinking about putting a trade demand, and nothing more has been said about that since then. And people, I know, Brian, I know you always like to say they lie this year in this time. But are there any, Jonathan Allen definitely going to stay with this team? Because he's the best leader on this team, and I would hate to see him go.
I mean, guys say things in bad situations. They got a whole new coaching staff here now. I will rethink that. And I think he will. But the way you correct all that, you come out, you ball out. And I think ultimately, if he gets back to where he was and the things that got him paid, he'll be here. Yeah. When I got here in Washington, I said it earlier, I saw the connection between the fans and the players. And when I left to go, when I didn't leave, I was cut. Let's get that straight. When I went to Philly,
we all got cut.
I still can feel it. You know, when I came back to play, few fools booed, and I gave them the one finger salute. But anyway, you just understand that they actually care about this football team.
Yeah.
Some people just cheer. Some people just go. But in D.C., they actually give a damn about the team.
Yeah. I mean, I think also, too, being in other places, being able to experience fans from other areas. I was in New York, and I remember sitting on the sideline, and they was letting Vinny Testaverde have it. And I just got tired of it, and I damn near jumped in the stands just to defend my quarterback at that time because I just felt like it was uncalled for. And when we was doing good, like a week or two later, they was wanting to, hey, Vinny, So the thing that I got from this fan base, man, they just, like you say, they family. You know how you go to grandma's house and you and that cousin always get in that fight, but when it's time to eat, y'all saying grace together, y'all got each other. That's what I feel when I came here. You know what I mean? That's why I said I didn't want to leave. I can feel like I was at home. And one of the reasons why I'm able to be here and walk through the town and see these guys and have a connection, share stories, talk to them, show up every time that, you know, the Commanders need me to, because I want to be able to interact with you guys just so y'all can stick around and know that to stay true, you know, stay with this team, because I feel like sooner or later we gonna win.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be a part of that. We gotta speak it though. You know, I hear so much negativity coming from so many people that follow this team, and it's no wonder why we go out there with, you know, and have some of the outcomes, because people are praying that we do. You know what I'm saying? But you have to speak it, man. And I feel that you guys are the reason why a lot of us is here today. And if you keep believing, man, we're gonna have that. We're gonna have our season sooner or later.
I think I'll go. I think y'all just die hard. Like, I hear that more than anything. Like, when you meet a fan here, I'm die hard. Yeah. I've been a fan for 73 years. Like, they gonna tell you where they stand on the situation, and that's passion. And if you got passion for something, you love it. So not only are y'all passionate, a very intelligent fan base here in the DMV. Like, the one thing I learned quickly in the DMV, that the United States, capital of the world, cherry picks America's finest from each city, similar to a football team, where we all have to coexist in this one organism and get to learn each other and know each other. And I think that's what make y'all good fans. We all from other places, but we living, going under the same things. And y'all ain't scared to go through an old bar fight with the team. You know what I'm saying? And I like that. But I can say this, y'all scared to go to Philadelphia. I know that for a fact. Y'all scared to go to Philly, because I don't see none of y'all when we in Philly. So y'all ain't that hard, but I think but tough and smart. That's how I describe the fans here.
I'll tell you what describes this for me is Bobby Mitchell and Brig Owens, Larry Brown, guys that when I got to this town, that taught me what George Allen had really is the guy who got this big rivalry started. Mm-hmm. This, to me, was a collegiate area. So for me to come out here, and Brig and these brothers took me in and said, look, this is what this is. The only thing that you go to a bar and then you pull out your money, people go, no, burgundy and gold, we got you. What? And it was a feeling, I'd never seen nothing like this. And I go, well, hold it. How did this thing come with this Edward Bennett Williams? We the last team to integrate. We go to Atlanta, people storming. Everywhere we went in the South, we were the team. And everybody was going out. I'd never seen nothing like this. We were losing. We lost our first 5 games. People at the airport at 2 a.m. in the morning greeting us. I've never seen nothing like this. And then we start winning. It was stupid. And I was, they'll tell you, each one of these guys will tell you. I call this brother here, dude, you got to get back. When he started, every one of them will tell you. Mm-hmm. I tried to recruit them like I was recruited by Brig and them, Larry Brown. They had jobs in the offseason when I got here. They said, no, you have to work. You want to be in this community. This place matters. and it was a family. I stayed at the Marriott at Dulles for 8 weeks. Damn. When I first got here. I had families calling me from Middleburg. Hey, we know you from California. They invited me there. I didn't know what Middleburg was. Now, you know all the people in Middleburg, but then nobody looked like me. All right? They invited me out.
Did they have paved roads back then?
Dude, I'm just telling you. And they invited me out to dinner, and I'm going, this place, I called my boys in L.A. and said, dude, this place is stupid. I ain't never seen nothing like this. So that's why I go, we're at the stadium Saturday. I've been there 6-7 hours. People lined up, getting their seats. I'm going, 4-win team. They know when the country has this. This is special. Yeah. So I feel an obligation to represent this. I'm pissed off that it was so poorly operated and what has happened, and the fact that a lot of us got shut out of it by people that came in here and ripped it off. Yeah. And so to me it's personal. I want to see it back on top. Yeah. I hate it when our stadium is taken over. You know, it pisses me off. No, I take it personal. I take it personal when this brother was dogged out of town, when Art Monk, when I'm seeing Art Monk in the Eagle uniform, that pisses me off. So these brothers to me are like my brothers. And I wanted them in town. I want them doing their thing. I want them growing. And what y'all represent is for us to get back in a Super Bowl, for us to be champions. And so that's my commitment. I just want one more parade, and I'm going to take my ass back to where beaches are. It's way too cold. Yeah. I will be back on the beach. That damn too cold for me. But I will not leave it until we have a parade again. That's a promise. Love y'all.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all.